After borrowing nearly $6 trillion in the last 2 years, is any serious person the least bit surprised that inflation has reached a 40-year high, that gas prices are higher than they have ever been, and that supply chain disruptions persist? You might think that government would change course. You might think that Congress would consider balancing its budget, lowering taxes, or repealing burdensome regulations. You might even think that Congress would at least rule out adding more regulatory burdens on small business owners. But you'd be wrong. Not one of those things are under consideration today. Instead, demonstrating a remarkable lack of creativity, the legislation under consideration today proposes to solve a problem created by spending and regulation with even more spending and regulation. Unsurprisingly, small business owners believe the economy is on the wrong track. The Job Creator Network's monthly Small Business Optimism Index found that small businesses have grown increasingly pessimistic every month since July 2021. I'm sorry to say that they're not going to feel any better after this hearing. Today, this committee focuses on threatening the franchise model, which has often been credited as a business model that spurs job creation. In fact, one of the more successful business models we have. If our goal is to create an environment where small businesses can thrive, our focus should be cutting regulations and barriers to entry. Rather, we are discussing ways to weaken a business model that has been benefiting customers, workers, and entrepreneurs alike across the country with a great history. The legislation being discussed today would add more regulations to franchises seeking to obtain SBA loans. The International Franchise Association has stated that these bills attempt to address a problem that doesn't exist in franchising. Franchisee satisfaction is at an all-time high coming out of the pandemic, thanks to the strength of the business model. Adding new government regulations and new government mandates to franchises will, while excluding other types of businesses, arbitrarily picks winners and losers. I ask for unanimous consent to enter the full statement by the IFA into the record. In reality, no amount of regulations and disclosures will eliminate the risk in SBA's programs. The best way to avoid risk to taxpayers is to stop forcing them to foot the bill for SBA grants and defaulted loans. As Dr. Yelowitz stated in his written testimony, the SBA's guaranteed lending program costs the taxpayer $25,000 per job. Another report from MIT found that the PPP program cost the taxpayer $224,000 per job saved. Rather than tweaking inefficient and bureaucratic SBA programs, I urge my colleagues to, for once, consider getting out of the way and letting small business flourish. Thank you.
Before turning to Senator Cortez Masto, I would ask consent that statements from